9200. That's 1-800-445-9200.
$68,073 feet, flying high, ladies and gentlemen, over all other radio shows. PM Show, Weekend Edition. I'm Michael Horn, our pilot, Mr. Fred Dreyer.
Thank you so much, Mike Horn. Actually, it's 68,000. Now it's 273.
Oh, 270. You went up a little bit.
We went up a little bit, and
amazing.
And you know why?
Oh, Tomas dove out the back. I see he parachuted out.
You know, I think they dumped a hay bale, and we just.
Is that what it was? A hay bale?
Up, yeah.
Oh yeah, I see Tomas back there. Okay, we're okay.
Yeah, so we're at 68,273, and we're dive bombing as we speak. Now, the subject matter here has been Arizona. Illegal immigration, Governor Jan Brewer and her wonderful staff fighting this thing tooth and nail. And what is she fighting for? She's fighting to demand that the federal government uphold existing immigration laws that will protect her border between Arizona and Mexico. That Nogales area of Arizona is probably one of the most dangerous places in the northern hemisphere right now. There is such violence. This is the portal in which all of the stuff that Eric Holder has now been slapping America in the face with. This Fast and Furious, this gun debacle, which I believe really ties into what we're talking about here in terms of illegal immigration. But what's really interesting to me is that a sitting president could tell America, I don't care what your problems are on the border. It is our responsibility to take care of the border. We can choose to take care of it or not take care of it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And even the one area of the law that was upheld by the Supreme Court where if there seems to be a crime that was committed of some kind, they can go ahead and call in and check the immigration. The president came out and said it's not going to be enforced. The guys that are working around that take the phone calls say we're not going to pay any attention unless it's a major crime of some kind. I mean, what a stupid thing to say.
Well, I think I think it's impeachable. I think the people of Jan Brewer and these people could. I'm sure that this isn't the first time they've thought of it. Could not only sue the federal government, which they have, and enforced an adjudication by the 9 judges who came back and upheld one of the 4 laws that they were asking for relief on. And so 1 out of 4, they say, well, gee, isn't that great? Well, that's the one that Jan Brewer really had the most value for, and that was the ability to ask illegal aliens that they thought were illegal, had a suspicion of being illegal, for their papers. And they were allowed to do that. The court said, if you can't do that, then there's no such thing as sovereignty. You have no sovereignty. So they got to do that. And then the government said, well, even though you got to do it, you might be able to arrest illegal aliens and then turn them over through the process to ICE, Immigration Services. But once they are there, they contact the federal government, and the federal government will just say, let them go. And that's what they're going to do. And that's what they said they're going to do. The arrogance of this. It's criminally. It is a crime that I can't believe that they could get away with.
And nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to be up in arms. I mean, some people are, but I mean, literally, they're saying they're not going to enforce the law.
Well, that they've said not only are we not going to force it, but you can go to hell for asking us to.
Right.
The arrogance of these people.
They're going to ignore the request.
Now, I mentioned Alan Burson a couple of spots ago.
Yes, you did.
Alan Burson is the existing border czar. He is an ultra-liberal, progressive Euro geek who believes that the America should be a European territory. These are the guys, and they've put this guy in charge of our border. Okay, now he's a very close friend of Hillary Clinton. He served as border czar under Janet Reno in the Clinton administration. Okay, that was the connection. Now his main goal is to keep the border open for illegal aliens without interference from the federal government. That's his job. It's 180 out of what it should be. And this guy is a criminal. You'll never hear this guy's name mentioned anywhere.
I haven't heard his name until you mentioned it now.
You'll never hear this guy's name mentioned.
What's the name?
Alan Bersin, Bersin. And he
Another
is
czar.
Yes, he is, and he's one of.
Czars do not answer to the people. Czars are just
unelected. They're appointed. They're buddies, and they say, "Hey, Alan, what do you think of the border?" Well, what would you like me to think about it? Well, how about just having it open? Okay, I think we should have open borders. Okay, you got the job, and that's where we are, and that's what's going on. That's one of the many cuts, many reasons that you got to vote this guy out come November 6th. We're almost 4 months to the day. Next Friday will be 4 months to the day away from this thing. And you got to vote this guy out because of the arrogance and the belief that the government is run by elites. It's a theocratic plutocracy. You know, it's by those who deem themselves divinely guided, the wealthy, the elites, the ones that are above the fray. They could care less about the safety and the well-being of Americans, let alone the people that they're pandering to, illegal aliens. You know, those people do have a right to file correctly and get in line and go through the process. And here's the one thing: a lot of things you're not going to be privy to. You will on the show. Once you have amnesty, you waive the demand to speak English. Did you know that?
I did not
You know that Ronald Reagan gave amnesty to 2 million illegal aliens in 1986?
I knew that.
They did not have to pass any muster to speak the language. Therefore, they did not assimilate. That move, that blunder, is directly related and ties into the growing gang problem in Los Angeles. That's another show we could do on this. But the ramifications of what's going on here is just not to be believed. You either have a country or you do not have a country. I believe we do. We got to fight for one. We got to get someone in there who believes it. Anyway, when we come back, we have more of this to continue. We have some sound bites, and we have an awful lot more left in the show, so please don't go away. I'm here with my good friend, Michael Horn.
PM Show with Fred Dreyer.